Eerie Echoes Mysteries.
To his neighbors, he was the quiet one. To his co-workers, he was unremarkable. But behind the dull eyes of Jeffrey Dahmer lay a void that no amount of normalcy could fill. Long before the Milwaukee monster made headlines, there was a boy in Ohio who was simply slipping away. Born in 1960, Jeffrey's early life didn't scream monster. His father, Lionel, was a chemist. His mother, Joyce, struggled with mental health. But by age 10, Jeffrey developed a hobby that moved beyond childhood curiosity. While other kids were playing baseball, Jeffrey was in the woods behind his house, searching for roadkill. He wasn't looking to hurt living things, yet he was fascinated by what was inside. He began using his father's chemicals to bleach animal bones. This wasn't just taxidermy, it was his first attempt at control. In a world where his parents were constantly fighting, the dead were the only things that stayed where he put them. June 1978. Jeffrey is 18. His parents have divorced, and he is left alone in the family home. He's drinking heavily to numb a series of dark fantasies he can no longer suppress. Then, he sees Stephen Hicks. Stephen was a hitchhiker, just 18 years old, headed to a concert. Jeffrey offered him a ride and a beer. For a few hours, they talked. But when Stephen tried to leave, Jeffrey's greatest fear, abandonment, took over. With a barbell, Jeffrey ended Stephen's life. He then spent the next several days meticulously concealing the evidence. He didn't feel the weight of a murderer yet. Instead, he felt a terrifying sense of relief. He had finally made someone stay. What follows is perhaps the most chilling part of the story: the silence. For nearly a decade, Dahmer tried to hide in plain sight. He joined the army and served as a medic in Germany. He was discharged for alcoholism and eventually moved to Milwaukee to live with his grandmother. She thought he was a troubled young man trying to find his way. She didn't know he was prowling the local bathhouses and bars. He was arrested for indecent exposure and disorderly conduct, but the system saw a quiet, polite young man and gave him probation. By 1990, Jeffrey moved into apartment 213. The neighborhood was a melting pot of marginalized voices, people the police often ignored. Here, the mask of normality began to crack. The smell of rotting meat began to waft into the hallways. The sound of power tools echoed at 3 a.m. Jeffrey was no longer a boy with a hobby. He was a predator who had realized that if you choose the right victims and the right neighborhood, you can get away with almost anything. But the darkness was about to spill out of the shadows, because in part 2, the neighbors start talking, the police stop looking away, and the true scale of the silent rooms is finally revealed.